Well, we're at over the halfway stage now in the championship. Names you don't expect at the top and some names you do expect. And when you've got the underdog with the champion, feels like it's a Super Bowl. There's no Super Bowl going to be here at the Hard Rock Stadium for a few years, but there is motor racing at the Miami International Autodrome for round 7 of the IMSA Vintage Series live here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. Hello, everybody. I am Craig King. Joining me in the booth today will be Sagar Baski. Our director will be Daniel Costello, using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. A new staple in F1 and a track that's got a lot of lovers and a lot of haters, and this commentator loves this track. This is going to be a fantastic addition to iRacing. It's its debut for IMSA Vintage, and to find out more, we go to our GSRC track guide.
Welcome to the Miami International Autodrome. Originally built for Formula One, the circuit has begun to see use with other series and events. It winds its way around the Hard Rock Stadium and its parking lot, which can be found sandwiched between Miami proper and Fort Lauderdale. With 19 turns tucked into 3.6 miles for the Grand Prix course, no need to worry if you've brought a lesser powered car. There's a total of 5 different layouts, with many shorter versions suitable to a variety of vehicles. The first sector throws lots of flowing corners at you before slowing things down at the hairpin of 8. From there, the track weaves some more, but in most cars it's easily flat out all the way until turn 11, offering a tempting passing opportunity. At this point, the track tightens into a series of slow technical turns, including the infamous 1415 chicane, which navigates one of the few areas with elevation change. And now, your inner speed demon gets unleashed with the incredibly long backstretch down into the sharp hairpin of 17. Like many modern Grand Prix circuits, there is plenty of paved runoff on the outside of most corners, but the street circuit style of it being a temporary track means that concrete walls are also ready to collect you should you overstep your limit. Fast and technical, it rewards precision and bravery. Since 2022, this has become a top-tier venue in North American racing. The fans might come for the Miami vibes, but they'll stay for the thrilling speed.
I'll say I can't say I've ever been to Miami, but this is quite a nice track for those around the area.
Absolutely. It's a great track. Founded in 2022 in Miami, Florida, with 19 corners, 12 to the left, 7 to the right. It's only got 33 feet of elevation change, and one of the technical parts about this track is it uses temporary asphalt. So across the weekend, the track is going to evolve massively.
Yeah, and that's one of the issues as well. I know some drivers really struggling when it comes to grip around here this week. And if you get on the marbles on this sort of track, that's a little bit more dangerous than what you would normally see. If some people have seen as well, one of our commentators, Reese Gardner, doing his video on this, you can see the why people love this or hate this. But we see the stationary boats, and I'd like to go for a dip today, but I could just go outside because it's absolutely hammering it down. But it'd be dry out here today. Just like the championship, it's hot, hot, hot as we get to those GTP standings. And 2-horse race at the moment. No Lesky Aloma for the last 2 weeks. Gabriel Martinez has the lead over Jacob Reed, but Reed has closed that gap after last week at Kota. Aloma, as I said, in 3rd, and Christoph Jack is in 4th. Everson Gordon with a late bloom will be in 5th. Lars Olsen just behind in 6th. Then Fabian Jungbluf holding up a very tight back 10 of John Swartz in 8th. Brendan Lim in 9th. Jack David Spickett rounds out your top 10. GTO Sega, not exactly as close as that.
Well, in the GTO standings, it'll be Yanni Hagner leading the charge with 103, but right behind, it'll be Andreas in 2nd place, just 3 points back in the standings as we head into Miami. Noel Lundberg will be 30 points back in 3rd, and Cal Young in 4th. Adrius Schuster in 5th. Mickey Friesen in 6th. Josh Brain in 7th. Emilio Dicciari in 8th. And Yuko Leseca in 9th. Ika Cotilsalo, tied for 10th and 9th place.
Yeah, very tight, like always, on the bottom of the top 10s. And As we see the Hard Rock Stadium. Yeah, it's a bit of a shame they say there won't be any Super Bowls here, but that doesn't bother me. It's round 7. This is what we're all about here. 14 minutes today, and it's open setup. So use the iRacing baseline. Use the setup you made yourself or one provided by the community. But if you crash, your day is done. There's no spare car, and it's a street track. So you're going to be alert around those barriers. Drive-through will be at 17 incident points. It'll be a disqualification at 25. And as I always like to say at a street track, well, you won't be 25 incident points. You'll be in 25 pieces if you hit the barriers out there today. But as we get ready to see qualifying, the first laps are starting to just begin. As we see, it looks almost like the old baseball stadium section of Mexico there, but nope, that temporary stadium there as they go over and under the bridge, the very technical 13, 14, 15, and then 16 combo. This man, as we're seeing right now, won last night in the Grand Prix Tour. It's Jacob Reed. He knows a lot about this track, and he comes down the back line, the back roads. But get ready for that hard braking into 17.
It's a long 0.37 mile long straightaway, or 600 meters before you get into the heavy braking zone that leads into the final sector of the Hard Rock Cafe. Here and there's pit road at the Miami International Autodrome.
Yeah, Reed's going to come across the line straight away. It's a 43.835. There's a 1 in front of that, of course, but Gabriel Martinez, he needs to get a good time here, and it's a smaller field for the GTPs today. That doesn't matter for Gabri. What's important is making sure he's close to the front, and the number 4 car is hunting down hard onto the throttle. Didn't have a good time out last night when he was in a Formula 1 car around here. Puts it all right, though, for the moment, but he's got to find a staggering 8 tenths around here, and then you start to see some of these curbs. Some are risen, they are, but some of them are just painted on. That's going to be really tough for track today.
Yeah, it's a quasi-permanent street circuit, semi-street circuit, whatever you want to call it. So they use this temporary asphalt here on the circuit, and they also have this feeling of a permanent circuit despite being a semi-street circuit. So it has this unique flow to it as well that the drivers have to drive through, and as well as the infamous, or not so famous, fake marina that was an instant meme as soon as it came out in 2022.
Someone's got to enjoy it. They're only 8 miles away from the coast, and they're going to have some boats somehow as Cal Young comes in, and this is the sort of car that I would love to see some more racing around here. Porsche Cup in the real world does tackle this track, but some old school GTOs, yes please. It's throwback weekend this weekend in Laguna Seca for IMSA, so it's kind of nice to bring the old into the new on iRacing, as the GTOs and GTPs of the past will go down. And remember, they do have victories, these cars, in Florida, but of course that's a different Florida. That's Sebring. That is not here at Miami. Over goes Cal Young, got a nice pole position just from Roman Bello, and Roman's going to set his second time, and just looking, I don't think it's faster. It isn't. So Cal, at the moment, still provisional pole, comes around the final corner into 18 and 19. I say it's the final corner, it's the final braking corner. Going to try and cut this. Mickey Friesen jumped him out of nowhere. Early run to the start finish line, and a 56 flat. He retakes the lead.
Amazing run there for the touring car GTO monster. Turbocharged all-wheel drive. It's aggressive and more forgiving in traction zones than you'd think, but these guys are making just look easy out here tonight with the level of skill and precision that they're able to pull off, and these times are quite staggering. I mean, yes, we have 4 within the top 1 second in the GTO category and 4 within 1 second in the GTPs, but can they be consistent over this 40-minute stint is the question, and that will be the challenge for these drivers, as they have very little assists or safety nets to get them across the line.
And also very little time learning this track, because first time these cars have been to the track. Jovis Rices, coming around there. We just saw Sahil Kuriu from Jordan setting some times, and now the number 29 car looking to try and see if they can get some more time. But with 10 seconds to go, You're not going to be getting anything else. So we'll wait for the time to clock down. Hard onto the brakes and sliding in there. The corner's on the left, not on the right, but that's a lock up at the brakes. And we get ready to go over the grid. So I'll get the GTPs for you. As we get ready to see, there is MIA. It's short for Miami, but it's also Miami International Autodrome. The more you know, the better you know. Starting grid for the GTPs, Jacob Reed had a staggering 7/10 over Yuko Leskala. Not Gabriel Martinez. He'll start behind Jacob Reed in third, and Christoph Lenajak will take fourth. Burn Honingsinger, will be in fifth, and Drew Schuch will take sixth, and it's Andre Felipe Diaz in seventh. Andrew Blackman will be in eighth, with Ignacio Sanchez Ruiz in ninth. Diego Alberto Madania will be in 10th, and one more driver, Mateo Johnson, was driving around with a black flag, was not happy to go for some qualifying. GTOs are brought to you by Sega.
For those raw power GTOs, it'll be Cal Young and Mickey Friesen on that first row. Romain Bello and Emilio Dicciari on that second. Shady Ahmad and Thorben Polik on that third. Ian Haycox and Brandon White on fourth. Sahil Corey and Stefani Leslie, on row 5. Over to row 6 and beyond, Josh Brain and James Carpenter, Jonik Berg and Martin Sell, Rafael Rodriguez and Joseph Riffis, Stefan Fleury and Eugene Massa round out the row 9.
Yep, 18 GTOs, 11 GTPs today. And it's going to be a full formation lapping. But for these Audis that don't have any heat in those tires, they're going to be happy about that. Not that they need to worry too much about trying to get heat, because it's hot out there. It's 47 Celsius. It's 117 Fahrenheit as one driver decides that they want to start in the pit lane. And look at that wind. That is 30 kilometers an hour, 18 miles an hour southeasterly. And if you want to know roughly where north is, that back straight goes east to west. So basically, they're going to be having some sort of a mini crosswind with a little bit of help down that back straight. Wind is always not your friend unless it's making you go pretty fast, like they do with the Gulfstream going across the ocean. So that's going to play havoc for these cars that need the aero, like the Nissan GTPs.
Absolutely. Those Nissans are just a rocket ship prototype. It's just raw power and behaves nothing like a normal prototype that you would see today. So the fact that these drivers are willing to equip it and drive it around a modern racing circuit just baffles me, and especially under these conditions. Just so you know, you can fry an egg at 50 Celsius. So we're almost there, Craig.
I'm still going to try. Granted, it's 12:43 sim time. In theory, the track will get hotter, but not as hot. I think we're at that cusp. But at the same time, on sim time yesterday for the GP World Tour, and it's our best reference point, this, because we've not done any racing here at Miami Sands, a Porsche North American Cup. This is basically the litmus test. 46 Celsius, regardless, is still pretty hot. And one thing I was always told when it comes to a hot track is be smooth on your throttle. So make sure you don't slam the throttle. You can't in these things. Look at the massive tires on the back. You got to be careful with those. Smooth on those throttle. Be smooth on the braking. You don't slam it in. You turn it a little bit softer. You just make yourself a little bit calm. And I don't think we'll be cooking the egg. I think this will almost be a case of let's just have the egg in our hand. I don't know if you ever did that, Sega, but you're giving, instead of like giving a baby or like a baby doll to practice how to be polite and kind, you give it an egg. Don't smash the egg.
Hopefully the drivers will be driving with an egg under their throttle pedals as they try to modulate their control of the grip beneath them, especially under these conditions. It's going to be a challenge without any driver aids. The drivers are going to have to do whatever they can to challenge each other. But this is going to be a great grid, and I'm excited to be here for GSRC for the IMSA Vintage Series. I mean, where else would you want to be on your Saturday morning?
I'd like to be in bed, but on a Saturday, on a Saturday afternoon, I'm getting ready to have some fun out here today, and the drivers getting themselves ready. The pace car will dip in just around turn 18, so one corner. Jacob Reed will control the field, and thankfully, hopefully, these tires will be nicely warmed up. As you see, yeah, it's a straight, but at the back, you can just see down that back straight. It's a straight, but it's not straight. There's a small little notch in the wall that just comes at you, so you got to be ready. But you've always got to be alert on a street circuit. You've got to make sure that you're not going to look for any issues. A little bit of dust still getting thrown up by some of the drivers, but that's not going to matter as the Porsche iRacing safety car will get ready to go in, and Jacob Reed will control the field to start 40 minutes around the Miami International Autodrome. He now controls the field wherever he wants to go, and I wonder if he's just going to wait till the last moment. Small dip going down into 19, and he will indeed just say, wait for it, hit the pace car over the line, and he goes right away. And I wonder if just P3 for Gabriel Martinez might help him, and the experience from last night, because into turn 1, he goes side by side with Yuko Leskala, mates it stick. They're still side by side as they go through the S's. He gets it together. GTOs are just coming through the corners himself. Cao Young leads.
And it's green and clean for both fields right now, as it looks like we're getting to turn 7 for the leaders in the GTP category. And there rolls out our Diego Alberto Medina as he rolls out a pit lane from his start. And we have an off. That'll be the number 5. That'll be Mickey Friesen off.
Yeah, it started to turn into the corner, and well, he started turning in. Car wouldn't turn in. He's got toe tires, and he has to almost avoid hitting Cao Young. Just a really weird mistake there from P2. Car did not want to turn in at all. Did he catch too much speed? Not entirely sure. We probably won't see a lot of frustration on his face right now. He's super focused. Got to get those tires warmed back up. Well, I say warmed back up. He's overheated them with that slide. So now he's got to cool them down a little bit. But I wonder if he just caught a little bit too much of the marble, a little bit going off the road there. And of course, the moment he went into that S's section, wide he went. Well, there's nothing there. It's a temporary circuit. He was just on a lot of dirt and a lot of debris.
Rafael Rodriguez caught out in an incident coming down in towards turn 11, it looks like. Mateo Johnson battling for 9th and 8th position. Up ahead is Ignacio Sanchez Ruiz, who goes a little bit deep and wide, and I think he's going to lose the position to Mateo Johnson, who was there at the opportune moment.
Yeah, made that moment. And I think if you make a mistake or you let a car go through at turn 17, as hang on, more fighting back here. They don't have DRS like they would in F1. There's no DRS anymore. Try to make that move around the outside. He doesn't. Will go on to the 007 camera. Mateo Johnson now having to just fend off here. A real good start there for Johnson. And this is the corner we saw Mickey Friesen have issues with, and look at the different lines there. Either attack that first part there going into 4, or just keep it wide and attack 5, and different lines going as they now hug wide around the outside of 7. This is Drew Schutz as well. He's in a battle with Andre Felipe Diaz, using the slipstream to his advantage all the way down this back straight through 9 and 10. Going to go side by side as hopefully when he goes braking for 11, doesn't need to worry. Felipe Diaz said it's no bother. In front of them, Elena Jack, just there in the front, at the back of the picture. Well, he went a bit too wide there at turn 11. It's catching everybody out.
Get a replay of what happened here to Rafael Rodriguez, and it will be going into the rear end of that number 29, unfortunately into the braking of turn 11.
Just outbroke himself a little bit there, and that's a little bit tad unfortunate. And Mickey Friesen also now looking to see if he can get himself back up the order. Remember, he started in 2nd, already back up into 5th, and he's in the train. And, well, it's one train because the leaders are kind of checked out a little bit. Cao Young trying to gap Roman Bello right now in the GTOs. There is Cao at the front. Roman Bello's just in the slipstream. I think Drew Schutz in the GTPs just into the pit. I think he's had some moment there. And get ready onto the GTOs to see a lot of train work happening here. But for Drew Shute, here's the replay. He's coming around the section, under the highway there. I wonder if he's taken too much curb here and gone fly. Well, he actually turned into never seen that before.
That's so strange. And Drew then gets the meatball flag, has to come down pit road. What an unfortunate, and like you said, just an odd and strange incident, clipping the inside wall of the chicane.
Yeah, never actually seen that before. Don't even think I've seen that before in any real life motorsport. Just trying to attack as much as you can. You can run over the curves through in the middle part of 14 and 15 there, but if you cut it too much, you get a slowdown. So I wonder if he was trying to avoid the slowdown. Gabriel Martinez had a lot of fun round there yet last night. It had a spin going through there in a Formula car, and those things have side cut, but they don't have the ground effect downforce like these cars. So I do wonder if Gabriel's going to look for that. We've had our first retiree, Rafael Rodriguez, in the GTOs, has already gone into the tow. As Lescala, he just can't catch up, and I wonder if this is the case of different downforce settings. And here comes Mickey Friesen as well. He's looking to try and get the move on. Friesen going side by side with Ian Haycox, manages to get this done. They're still side by side. The long way round's not going to help Mickey. He's going to try and jam it into the corner. Still not there. Still side by side through this section. That's going to be maybe a slowdown there for Mickey Friesen. Gets away with it. And Brandon White saying, I want some of this as well.
That is absolutely phenomenal. And he's one-handing it as well, as he puts one hand on the shifter, one hand on the steering wheel. Mickey Friesen is absolutely two-footing the heck out of his car right now, as he is just quicker than the rest of the field, back up into P6 for the category, and has his eyes set on Shady Ahmad up front, but up the road by quite a bit of time now.
It's just a little bit of time. I think he's going to be all right, though. He doesn't need to worry too much. Early days happening, and still looking at the track, the multi-class aspect of this race with they intertwine. That's not happening just yet. Is on board with Brandon White, battling Ian Haycox. Ian, of course, drives with a special setup. Lost a limb due to a motorbike accident a few years ago, and just driving with just a brake pedal and then throttle on at the steering wheel, or vice versa. I feel I always get that a little bit mixed up there, as White's going to try and send this through into 7. It does work, but usually the right line is around the outside, similar to the first little cambered corner down at Zandvoort, but it worked for Brandon this time. Ian's going to get the nice run. Brandon's going to try and defend this, and Ian's looking to go. Do I go around the outside? Do I try and bait the dummy? I think he set the dummy up. Ian Haycox gonna get this. They both brake at the same time, but deeper and shallower on the brakes. Ian Haycox, does he slow that down in time? Well, he does indeed, but he could not get around the outside. Are they going to go side by side through this section? No. Ian defends that move with some really nice braking going down into 11.
Yeah, that was great defense from Ian Haycox, driving that green Nissan up ahead right now. I mean, excuse me, the Audi, and just doing a great job managing the control and the pace. He had the inside line set up, went a little bit deep on exit, but now he's going to defend the racing line, not get too squirrely with Brandon White in the number 15. The United States driver holds on, comes to the inside attacking one for 17, and then through 18 is going to have the lead. It goes the way of White behind Mickey Friesen, Ian Haycox, and then Josh Brain in that third spot, well, 9th overall in the category.
And then they've got Leslie right behind as well, and I think Leslie may be getting caught up here by Sahil Curry. So this could be an interesting little group in the middle of the field. As now I wonder if Brandon White's going to start to try and pull ahead, as Haycox has not had the best of runs. Here's a man that's on his own. You see, count 3 seconds, and then you'll see Emilio Dechari. You don't even see Emilio. That's how far ahead he is right now. Gaps 3 seconds. You'll see him now because Daniel puts the camera on him with Roman Bello right behind, but not a lot happening. Emilio trying to push us. There's the Argentinian in full gear. I'm just trying to think. Well, it's springtime here in the Northern Hemisphere. It's starting to get a little bit colder in the Southern Hemisphere for the Argentinian. And look how calm he is. He was thinking, do I get ready to shift up? No, I'm just going to wait. And I've never seen a man so stone-faced. And that's a good thing. Keeping us stone-faced, you're nice, cool, calm, and collected. You're not worried too much.
Absolutely. The lower your heart rate or the calmer that you are, the better decisions you can make. You know, it all comes down to the psyche of the driver. Are you getting into the fight or flight stage of your response system? That's what we're triggering when we get our adrenaline going at such a higher rate. We're basically triggering our fight or flight. And here we go. Speaking of combat, it's Mickey Friesen and Shady Ahmad. That came down very quickly and faster than I could have expected. Friesen shaking and baking all the way back up into P5 for the number 5.
Class 1 old touring car design thing. Josh Brains had a moment out there. He's facing the wrong way.
What a lazy spin.
It's a lazy spin. He's actually lost it under the braking. And then just because he's lost it under the braking, the rear's come around. And that's meant he's caught the wall. Got to be careful because Jacob Reed's just coming up very shortly. Jacob Reed's coming up very shortly, Josh. Jacob Reed's coming up very shortly. The lead GTPs are coming up. Just take your time, and he does keep his eyes on the timing tower, on that black box. And well, hard in the mouth moment there when you're a race car driver, when you know there's a car up ahead and you're thinking, please just pay attention. Look at that black box. And Josh, in all due fairness, he does pay attention, but that could have been nasty had he not.
Great awareness by the drivers here. The caliber and skill that is being displayed right now is unlike any other than I see on a regular grid. We have the leader running away with it with 3.4 seconds. That'll be Cal Young driving the Audi GTOs, and Jacob Reed leading by nearly 2 seconds over Gabriel Martinez in the number 4. But it's still up for grabs as far as the podiums are concerned. Bello and Lexla all battling out and not too far away from their opponents.
Now traffic's going to play the havoc because the drivers are going through the traffic as Lexla going to get past Stephanie Fleury and almost taking a very better line into that turn 11. But they're going to get held up by traffic. And I know Jacob Reed's already been held up by some of the traffic braking for those corners. And this is where you won't be seeing anybody try to make some moves on the traffic for sure. May not even see an overtake as they go through. Luca Lescala, though. Lescala, I thought when I was looking at him that he may have cut that chicane a bit too much. Well, I think I might need to go and be a betting man because I think I was right there. He's had to take the slow down. He's going to try and serve this the best way he can, which isn't usually very easy to do on a straight. Give him credit, though, he's doing the best. Jacob Reed puts 2 cars ahead of him, and those 2 cars battling as Stephanie Leslie behind or in front of these guys are going to have their own little battle. And welcome to what they call the interesting moment. It is multi-class traffic around here right now. And oh my word, I've just seen a crash there. Medina into the wall. He was already slow and he rejoined and hit another driver by accident.
Oh my goodness, a 27 of Diego Alberto Medina not having a good run of it right now. And he'll have a meatball flag. This one will be going out to Drew Schultz again this time, but his car is seemingly looking okay. Josh Brain's car, though, definitely not okay. And we'll have to get a replay of what happened here, but here's the battle for P2 and P3 as Romain Bello, the Greenland driver in the number 8, battles with Emilio right out in front. And this position is not secure by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, you can see the drivers those that have had experience around here. I know Emilio Dicciari was racing one of the hot splits this week and was able to be a little bit more aggressive through 14 and 15 compared to Roman, who looked like he was just taking a little bit too passive, making sure he didn't do too much of the bumps there, and it could be the setup not really set up the way he wanted. However, manages to use this with Slipstream 2 hit advantage, but Drew shoots there, by the way. That's so unfortunate to get another meatball flag. The first one on his own accord, the second one, nothing he did wrong. As I've just seen Mickey Friesen go down the order. Mickey's had a moment out there as well. Mickey's gone too wide. Actually, no, he almost ran into the back of another driver. Is this the replay? No, this is Drew Shoots coming in right now. And you just see he tries to go around, and what's on earth was going on there as the driver was trying to get back? Remember I was saying earlier, Zega, about someone keeping attention onto the relatives. That was what happens when you don't pay attention to what's behind you.
This is what happens when commentators start saying nice things about drivers. Everything goes wrong in the next sentence, right? The only thing that we can do is blame our good friend Craig King in the booth for giving everybody the commentator's curse. But back to the racing action, you're absolutely right. That is a lot of damage to Mickey Friesen. We'll get a replay here in just a few seconds of what happened to Mickey. Up ahead, just runs into the rear end of the damaged prototype. I think the 5 was just unaware that there was another car in front of the prototype and going slowly due to the damage.
Yeah, very, very weird mistake there. Maybe just couldn't get the braking down, and with that damage, look, already lost 2 positions. That's a lot to be carrying. Oh, a big moment in front. Almost had to get around. 3 cars. Ian Haycock's getting caught out from Diego Medina. Medina also took out Stephanie Leslie, and they're all gone. Medina's into the pit lane with a tow, and Curry is going to gain a couple positions from that. Ian Haycock's, well, he gets away from it. It's an instant quit there from Medina, but that could have been big. Thankfully, only 2 other cars caught, but look on the damage on the back of this. Is this just too late onto the brakes? Let's just see. Braking hard. He's too late. Too late. I don't even need to tell you anything else. Too late. And the car slides around. And in all due fairness, I don't even think Ian could have done anything there. And that is inexcusable. That at the end is inexcusable.
Just an unfortunate incident there. Swiftly moving on from that conversation, James Carpenter, the Belgian driver in 8th place, has his eyes set on P7 right now. Corey up ahead, and the rejoin there. I think that's Josh Brain behind, a lap down.
That's Forbin Pollock with a lot of damage, and Forbin, he's had a moment on his own there. He's actually just slid around, and, well, I think he was on the curb. Let's have a look at the replay here. This is Forbin Pollock coming around. I want to say this is the 4, 5, and 6 section, or is it the number 1 and number 2? It's number 1 going to 2 into 3. The rear goes. I've never seen that. I wonder. 49 Celsius, 120 Fahrenheit right now. Track is hot, hot, hot. And these are old slicks when you think about, 80s technology, 1989. They're as old as me. I'm an 89 child, so you got to realize that these tires shouldn't really deal with heat like this, and I don't think I'd be wanting to cook an egg on those tires. But Mickey Friesen comes out of the pits after a minute in the pit to get that repairs done, and realistically he had no choice. I wouldn't be surprised if Forbin Pollock, after all that damage, will have to come into the pits.
It's always dangerous to talk about cars, motorcycles, trucks that were old enough to buy a beer before I was, but they're typically my favorite types of cars, trucks, motorcycles, and these cars are just absolutely volatile and have tons of raw pace. I mean, let's talk about the Nissan for just a second. It's massively turbocharged power delivery, extremely light chassis, huge downforce package for the era, and brutal acceleration once that turbo becomes alive. It's designed purely for endurance prototype racing, and it was a master at what it was designed to do.
Well, Forbin Pollock's come into the pits as well, and he's had to get that damage repaired. As in he goes. That's going to be a bit of time. And he put his car on the jacks as well, so he'll be on cold tires as well. That's a little bit unfortunate, not what he was hoping to do there. Kahuri is, well, getting past Carpentier. Stephanie Leslie is, well, just behind them in a bit of a classic livery here. I think it's homemade, but it does have that retro vibe to it that some drivers love to do. Joseph Reifus as well now towing as well. So we're down about 4 drivers in the GTOs, down a couple drivers in the GTPs as Leslie will come on by. This battle for P2, it continues. Roman Bello still battling Emilio Dicciari. Just hasn't had the run that he would like. You think to yourself, though, and they come out of this chicane and then out of turn 16, that long straight, it might be there for him. It might be a move coming up here from Romain Bello.
Dicciari, the Argentinian, in second place, is managing to keep a healthy gap to Romain Bello behind. But for how long can he keep this up? He's looking very calm, and keeping that heart rate low is going to be the key to success throughout these long runs. We're not even at the halfway point of this event yet, and he's not even breaking a sweat. It looks like he's got the mic down and he's chattering with someone, perhaps a race engineer or a spotter, giving him a little bit of assistance and some information. He doesn't look to be talking back too frequently. And there's Mateo Johnson. And this will be the 22, spun around the wrong way. I think this is at turn 14's exit on the run down towards 15.
Actually, yeah, turn 16. What's a weird spin? Just getting on the throttle too much, too early, too soon. And, well, I don't know if he's managed to get the car turned around. He has. I don't know how. That's almost like a Austin Powers moment. Massa out there as well, having some, well, he's also been in the wars and the wall, because he's actually not been able to turn in for turn 17, and that's why he's now got a little bit of a crumpled front, and he's got a crumpled front Fleury. He's got to try and do a move, and that's going to be a slowdown for Fleury. That gap was never, that door was never open. Dog flap was also shut. You need the lock-picking lawyer to get around there. Here's this moment for Massa, and, well, this feels like, with no offense to Americans, well, like the older classic American muscle cars, they just don't turn. They're just designed to go forward.
Very true, without any corner banking here in Miami. Without any dramatic elevation change either. We're sitting pretty much at sea level. We're right around 33 feet of elevation change in total from the lows to the highs, and that's really not saying much, especially when you talk about a track like Paul Ricard that feels really flat. That has 100 feet of elevation change down the Mistral Straight.
Yeah, really the only elevation change here is that section that goes under the underground. It goes under the highway, just because of the fact they've got no choice. It's got the pillars there. It's got just the way that the road's built and the terrain is. It's the only elevation change you really have is that small section there. As everyone's just has to look around and see the Hard Rock Stadium on their left at the moment as Zuko Lescala continues to try and catch up with Gabriel Martinez, but traffic. I've been waiting to say this, and with 17 minutes to go, finally got it. Traffic giveth and traffic taketh away. Martin sell. Well, he had to sell that corner to Lescala because Yuko's really pushing hard there. That will allow Mickey Friesen right behind to try and have a battle, because those two are battling hard as Lescala's looking to get a good run here, but it does feel like Gabri's just a little bit more confident, and there goes that experience for you. Even though that Gabri had the faster lap last time, an off-track meant it's not an official faster lap. Lescala technically with a tenth faster, but he was also a tenth slower last time. It won't be getting the slipstream this time from that man, Jacob Reed. He doesn't need it. He just needs to hope the traffic helps him out.
Mickey Friesen, glad to see him still running in this race despite having two big incidences take him out of the running. Jacob Reed, though, has had none. He's been mistake-free thus far, and his drive has been flawless up until this point. 16:45 remaining on the clock, and he has a 4.2 second lead over Gabriel Martinez. Lescala in third.
Yeah, Lescala, he's losing out the time now and still trying to catch up there as Jacob Reed really showing his pedigree. And if you weren't here last night for the Grand Prix World Tour, you can watch it back again on the iRacing channel after this race, of course, and watch that back with Jake and myself Fantastic drive in the field from Jacob Reed, really showing what this track has to offer for Formula Racing. Other drivers were there. Gabriel Martinez was having a nice little battle there as well. Roman Bello wasn't, but he still wants to have a little battle here with Emilio Dechari. He's going to take this through the hard section, and there's no room there. Dechari gave him as much room as he could through turn 3, and then, well, that was it, unfortunately, as now they come down into 4. The best chance there Bello's had for a while is gone. And now he's just going to have to set himself up, and of course, when you set yourself up, 7 comes into 8. Then you're just going to need to look behind you to see what the traffic is. The traffic is good. No one's going to threaten you right now. So by all means, just start to attack when you come out of turn 8. And it's basically straight now. But, oh, Roman, I don't know if you saw that. He just turned in a bit too late there and tried to get on the throttle too early.
And here comes Corey sliding through what looks like this will be the first sector. That's not a great look for the driver with the number 10 badge on his shoulder. Unfortunate spin there will send him back down into P8 for the category.
Yeah, just a small slide there. Josh Brain was able to avoid him as well. Yoni Bergs in the pits. Did not see what happened there to Yoni, but that's a lot of damage on the front of that car. We're going to see it right now as it comes up through this chicane section. And loses the rear. First time today we've seen someone lose it, taking too much curb there through 14 and 15. Oh, that's not. I know it's a tight track, and I know it's tight there, but you've got to pay attention to the relative there. And very costly moment there, just catching another driver out. And I know the idea is go behind the car, but even still, you know cars are coming. Just hold your brakes for a little bit.
And no, we're not sponsored or promoted by a product here at GSRC, but you know, there are some good tracking softwares out there that'll allow you to turn your head and take a look at, you know, those blind spots that are up there without using a giant widescreen monitor or television. I know it's a bit of a stretch to ask everybody to get a hold of them, but I swear it has improved my lap times dramatically, Craig, and I wouldn't go without racing with it ever since. But apparently, the relative is where we need to look to keep an eye on where drivers are coming at us, especially when we're dealing with the tight and twisty sections. Cal Young has kept his head on a swivel this entire race, but now we're looking at Shady Ahmad, who has Brandon White in tow. The number 15 has been running green and clean thus far, up 3 positions on the run currently. Running about a second faster than Ahmad last time out. The South African driver is going to have to defend like a lion, Craig.
Yeah, or he might have to defend like a dolphin, because dolphins do fight. They fight passively, as we're here with the home of the Dolphins, of course, as good racing by everybody. I'm an ultra-wide man myself, by the way, when it comes to vision, and that's been my go-to for the last 5 years, and I wouldn't want to change it any other way. Some of these drivers will be using VR. Some of them are ultra-wide, some of them triples, but the key thing for these drivers is they're happy enough. And ooh, is that a little tap there from Shadi Ahmad? Is that going to help Brandon White here? He's looking for one of his best results ever in a top split, is the man who is currently battling for that GTO junior category. Ahmad's going to go for the defense here. He's a former junior champion. Is he going to have to try and do this? And it's going to be very tough around the outside for Brandon White. And wisely, he's going to set himself up for some sort of over-under. Oh, he's actually timed that pretty well, but just couldn't get on the throttle. And all those tires were just gripping up a little bit too late. Ahmad will hold on to it. Very good to try and do that around the inside of Shadi Ahmad there to defend, but he doesn't get the run here. The short run to turn 1. Brandon White can't do anything. They're still trying to do it. He's overcooked it. And Ahmad had to take evasive maneuvers. You gotta be careful when you're braking these cars, because they can't outbrake a driver. We saw there, we almost had 2 cars in the wall.
Think you gotta wake up a little earlier in the morning to pull one over the eyes of Ahmad, as he saw that one coming from a long way back, and that evasive action was quick with the wheel to make sure that he wasn't collected by the 15 trying to outbrake himself. Brandon White, though, closes down, coming through the loop of turn 7 and then jettisons out of turn 8. Down the slipstream back straightaway out of 8, 9, and 10. The next heavy braking zone will be turn 11. Will Brandon White be able to get alongside? He's taking a peek, a gander, a look. The Hoonigan badged car into the braking zone. You can hear the turbos spool down and clatter away. Shoddy, it might lose out there. The number 9 on the inside does lose out to Brandon White, unfortunately.
I saw some smoke on the brakes there. I thought that Brandon locked up the tires. I was getting ready to say I'm going to pape him my own way, but no, everything was good there, and Brandon manages to get that car under control. Thought he didn't for a moment there, as now Shadi Ahmad's gonna have to just battle it out and now be on the attack, but he's proven that he can defend. So if he can defend around here, can he attack? Well, he's got 10 minutes and change left to go, and it'll be another lap ticked off when all of a sudden Jacob Reed, Ian Haycock's in front of him as well, he'll start to go. He's had a real good time. Emilio Dechari still battling with Roman Bello. Roman got on by on Dechari. Now, did he do that around the outside? No. Managed to get that run finally into turn 1. Didn't lock up the brakes, didn't overshoot the corner. A very rare turn 1 overtake here at the Miami International Autodrome. Gets that overtake done. And Dechari still looking for one of his best results on broadcast. But at the moment, it was going to be a P2. It's looking like a P3 right now. And if he turns in to that tricky turn 7 like that, that's not going to help him in terms of momentum.
Now, is this a strategy call from Dechari as well? He's been pressured maybe at the last half of the race pretty much by Roman Bello. Perhaps he was done and fed up with it. Now he's focused and locked in, looks to the inside line, going down in towards 11, perhaps not, as he battles it out, takes one hand off the steering wheel to get ready to shift back up as we get through 12 and 13. Again, the focus and concentration is there, and there goes Dechari, the Argentine, back up into P2.
There's no emotion. There's not even an exhale. There's not even an exhale right now, because he knows he didn't get the best run there out of turn 16, and here comes Bello once again. And he's going to look over to the left. He's going to see, maybe I'm just going to be a little bit more careful here, but to get this move confirmed, he'll have to try and do it around the outside of turn 17. Never seen anyone try to do it around the outside of turn 17, and he can't do it either. But he lets Bello make the mistake, and well, they're going to do it one more time around. They'll go again. Dechari this time, though, loses out before turn 1. Bello will confirm that overtake that, well, he had done about a lap ago, exactly 1 lap ago. Dechari's going to have to go on the attack. He has been on the attack already today, so I think he's got a chop. But with 8 minutes to go, well, it's time to be, as they say, squeaky bum time, because he needs to start getting on the attack.
Absolutely. And as I was saying just a lap ago, I was wondering if this was a position that Dechari wanted to be in going into the final few laps of this race. With just under 8 to go and we approach the final 5, I was wondering and curious if the slipstream was so powerful coming out of turn 8 down towards 11 that you really wanted to be back in P3, almost like a NASCAR driver, right? P3 is the prime position to be with 5 laps left to go. Is it the same here for these cars as Dechari gets another run going down into 11 and now looks to the outside line this time around? But I think he's just posturing, waiting for a mistake up ahead, and a little one was made, but he slips back in single file line for now.
And again, have we ever seen, I mean, Emilio, I love you, but where's the passion on the face? It is absolute full focus here. And now he gets a good run. Good exit out the last 2 corners. 15, run too much at the curve there for Bello. 16, rear was sliding a little bit. Now this slipstream's going to be strong. Can Dechari go for this? Maybe use Gabri Martinez? No, and if I'm Dechari there, I'm using that GTP. The bit late now, I would have used that GTP to get a little bit of slipstream to force it side by side, but he's going to force the issue here, but he can't get alongside, and that's what I mean. Martinez, now he's hit the barrier. Martinez was never going to be a late overtake there on Bello. But the moment he goes overtaking Bello, you have to feel that if you're Dechari, you've got to use that GTP slipstream to get side by side.
Definitely. Using the traffic to your advantage is the key to success here. You don't necessarily need to cheat, steal, or buy your way in to the top two, but a helping hand of slipstream never hurt a guy, right? And you can always use that to your advantage coming down the long straightaway out of 16 into 17, as we see a couple of GTPs giving the room there to the GTOs that are fighting.
Yeah, Yuko Lescala, not really the best of days. He could not battle Gabriel Martinez. The traffic's not worked for him, not really knowing where to go. Thankfully, that other GTP is not for position. It's Mateo Johnson. But now Dechari, and now he uses the GTP for a little bit of slipstream. I think it's a bit too late for that. It's 5 minutes to go. There isn't really any other battles going around, as you can see on the timing tower. And again, Bello goes a bit too deep into the corner. Dechari couldn't make the run there through 12, sorry, up into 13. He's gonna have to just sit back and just unwind a little bit here. But again, look how close he is. No GTP traffic. Small slide on the exit there. This is his best chance to make an overtake. And with 5 minutes to go, he's got to make it sometime.
Now, will it happen now or will he wait? I think this is going to boil over on the absolute final lap, and Dechari proves me wrong as he goes for a move on Roman Bello into the braking zone now of turn 17. But has he gone awry and too deep? Not this time around. He avoids the concrete barriers, and now Dechari is back up into P2.
And crucially, pulled ahead so much that Bello could not make an overtake. So now Bello will just have to concede, and now he's going to have to go on the attack. And 4 minutes ago, these cars are doing 2-minute lap times. What was it, 1:58.2, 1:59.1 last time for both these drivers. So I do wonder if this means there's not going to be much time left. Jacob Reed is on lap 21 of the race. There's going to be another 2 laps to go for the leader. Still got that 5-second lead to Gabriel Martinez. The traffic helping him as well. A smaller field for traffic today, which would have helped him regardless. However, now he just needs to bring it home. As last time out, Gabriel Martinez on the penultimate corner had a slowdown, and that cost him. I thought for a moment there, Jacob Reed, I was going to put another curse on him, man. I was going to get a slowdown, but no, he's all nice and calm. These guys aren't calm. Dechari is going to have to try and defend this. Roman Bello's going to try and do this around the outside. He's had a lot of respect, a lot of space there to make some moves. He actually sticks this, but he could not get the run as they come around turn 12.
A little bit of a mistake there compromises his run, and Roman Bello definitely ready to attack and pounce when the opportunity presents itself. We have the GTPs being a little bit cautious there as he sees that the GTOs are in a lead battle right now, desperately not wanting to get involved and ruin their bout.
He'll have to, again, he had a chance to use that traffic. Didn't to his advantage. This time the lap GTO right in front of them, Martin Sal. He'll make sure he gets out of the way for these drivers respectfully, making sure that there is space, and that's going to be fine, even though Bello had to take a little bit of a wider line through the final corner there at 19. He still had the space there from the lap traffic, so he's okay. Mickey Friesen, well, he's still battling. Top 10 would be a little bit of a recovery drive after 2 moments out there. He's got Massa. He's side by side. He's got way more speed than Massa. Does Massa have some damage on the front of the car? You bet your bottom dollar he does. Massa's almost going to try and fight this in, because even though he's not got the speed, it means he can brake later. But even if he does brake later, the flames do not give you 0.5 of a second. Unfortunately, they give you a little bit of problems there. As another battle now brewing as well. Stephanie Leslie on Yanis Carpenter. That could be a very late battle, but they've only got 1 more lap to go after this.
I can hear the music playing. It's the final countdown is cued on the jukebox here in Miami, and Jacob Reed is the conductor as he accepts the white flag from Barney the Flag Man here as he crosses the stripe at the Miami circuit. He's definitely gonna be holding his head high with the number 1 on his shoulder when he drinks some champagne.
Pretty sure he'll be having some champagne, and he's just dialed it down a little bit, or he's had the traffic and been a little bit safer through the traffic. But he's got 1 minute and 46 left in the races. Yeah, Gabri just took almost a second out of him, but it's going to be a bit too late for that. There's no traffic now going by, so he's going to have to go. A small moment there, but everyone can keep themselves calm, as Mickey Friesen did get past Stephanie Fleury in the timing tower. You just see that. So Mickey going up to P9 now, and that's going to be all he wrote for a bit of a mini recovery drive. But Jacob Reed is on it today, and so is Cao Young. He'll be coming across the line about 20 seconds after Jacob Reed. So we know that the leader's now on their last lap, and it does mean that battle for P3 in the GTOs. It's not really there at the moment, but it's still a close battle. It's been unstoppable for Cao Young today. Moment Friesen had that slide. Well, there was nothing else he could do, anyone else could do. Just had the pace that nobody else had today. Gets by again. Jacob Reed on to the back straight. He'll be looking to, not the same road, but he'll be looking to go to Don Shula Drive to basically be like the legendary Don Shula. He had an undefeated season with the Miami Dolphins, and for Jacob Reed, it's an unbeaten day. Led every lap, was the pole sitter, and he takes the victory at Miami.
What an outstanding drive for Jacob Reed, and Gabriel Martinez was no slouch in his own right, coming home in P2. Lesgala coming home in 3rd for the GTPs. Cao Young bringing it home for the GTOs with a 24-second margin back to Dechari, who had a grueling battle with Bello in the background.
Well, yeah, that battle as well has actually finished. There's Cao Young winning the GTOs. Bello has picked up damage. He went to attack the chicane at 14 and 15 so much, he met the wall, and he's got a lot of damage there. Bernd Hohensinger will come on by. Emilio Dechari, it's his best result on a broadcast. It's a P2, and even though it's a smaller field, he deserves that drive. A great drive for Dechari. Behind is going to be Bello. Is there going to be a little bit of a relief on his face? There's something. I'm still keeping my eyes on. Daniel's still keeping his eyes. I'd be celebrating right now if I just had a P2. I think he'll be having that after. There goes the breathe out there. There's the celebration. And you know that he was waiting for that for the last 30 minutes. Well done, Emilio, for a P2.
Well, finally, a breath of emotion from Emilio Dechari there. And what a wonderful sight as he celebrates a lap and a good, hard-fought battle with Roman Bello as we bring it home. The Argentinian really deserves that second place on the podium behind Cao Young, because just how hard he fought, how tactical he was, and then he just managed to keep it clean for the majority of the race. So hats off to Dechari. Maybe my vote for driver of the day even.
Yeah, I would say that was definitely driver of the day, as 1, 2, and 3 come into the pit for the GTPs. I'm pretty sure, just looking around, we can declare the results unofficial, because of course there might be something after the race. So we'll go down to run off the results right now for the GTPs, as Jacob Reed was untouchable today. He was almost like Dan Marino, but Marino never won a Super Bowl in this place. Reed will win over Gabriel Martinez by just under 5 seconds. Yuko Leskola could not keep up with the pace, and Christoph Lenacek will be in 4th. Bernd Hohensinger with a broadcast best 5th, and Andre Felipe Diaz, last driver on the lead lap, in 6th. Andrew Blackman will take 7th, a lap down with Matteo Johnson in 8th. Ignacio Sanchez Ruiz will be in 9th. Drew Schutz retired early after 2 meatball flags in 10th. And one retiree, Diego Alberto Medina, will be in 11th. And Vega as your GTOs.
For the Audi GTOs, it went to Cal Young for the win. Emilio Dicciari in P2 and Romain Bello in 3rd. Brandon White came home in 4th. Shadi Ahmad in 5th. Giannis Carpenter in 6th. Stefan Leslie in 7th. Tael Corey in 8th. Mickey Friesen with a recovery drive into the top 10 secures 9th, 1 lap down. Stefan Fleury in 10th position. We'll round out the top 10 there and headed over to Eugenio Massa, Martin Sell, Ian Haycox, Josh Brain, Johnny Berg, Thorben Pollock, Joseph Riffis, and Rafael Rodriguez for all 18 GTOs tonight.
It'll be all 18, and well, it's a smaller field, but it still delivered the magic out there today. I do wonder if we may get anyone coming in for interviews, but I don't think so. Might get a knock on the door when we get ready to do it. In fact, just as I said that, we do have a knock on the door. I think it's only fair to talk to the man that I think everyone will call the driver of the day, Emilio Dicciari. Congratulations, first of all, on a very well fought P2.
Well, thank you, Craig. Thank you, guys. Yes, it was unexpected in this season, but yeah, it finally came. I always complain about that I never could get a better result than P8 on broadcast. So today a P2 is more than I expected during the World season. So yeah, I'm so happy, and yeah, I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
We were watching you most of the race, and it was a very tense battle with Roman there, and there was full focus on your face all race. It took you, what, half a lap before you could finally celebrate the P2, but it looked very tough battling Roman there because the 2 big straights were just overtaking chances for both of you, and it was just a game of who made the last overtake, it felt like.
Yeah, Romain in the last until the half of the race, I think Romain was waiting or being patient. So I was also patient, but obviously full focus because I don't want to make any mistakes. I have some mischief, but nothing very bad. And yeah, in the last couple of laps, Romain started to demonstrate his experience on this car, and yeah, he was braking so much later than me, and he was trying, and I started to push again, and yeah, it was really focused because I know that every centimeter that I gave him, he probably use it, and yeah, in the last, I don't know what happened with him in the last lap because we were really close in the field half of the last lap, and yeah, I think he hit the wall. And I make a final gap to be patient on the last corner and celebrate it later.
Yeah, he did indeed hit the wall going into that chicane before the back straight. I was eyes glued watching that. I thought he was going to have you at the end there, but no, that one incident cost him. As well, a P2 here is fantastic, and we go from one street track to another. Mount Panorama next week. It's a little bit of a wild card for some drivers. I believe you have driven the GTO around there before, but your thoughts on driving this monster around the hills of Mount Panorama?
Yeah, the last time, or the only time that I raced there, I was leading in the bottom split and I broke the engine, so I have some work to do there, and I want obviously to be there and try to get another good result. Obviously, it will be difficult to get another podium or something, but yeah, I'm expecting too much that race because I have some doubts pendants there. So yeah, I will wait to Mount Panorama for another good race for sure.
We'll call it a redemption race next time. The goal to finish, and I'm pretty sure you will be finishing, knock on wood. Emilio, congratulations on the P2. Go and celebrate it at home, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Thank you, guys. Thank you to all the people, to all the who is watching the broadcast, and to my family, my girlfriend, my friends, everyone. Thank you.
Emilio Dicciari there, finishing in P2 after a very intense battle, and that going to do it today for the broadcast. So a thank you to the IMSA Vintage community for bringing us back once again. And a thank you to the team, to Sega, to Daniel, and to Dougie. As I was just mentioning, next week, we head to Australia, Mount Panorama, aka Bathurst. Always crazy when you see these cars. And actually, when you think of multi-class, this is probably the tamer multi-class around here. It's very interesting. You've got to watch that one. It's going to be interesting. But just because it's Saturday does not mean our broadcasts end. We've got more broadcasts coming up. Tomorrow will be the Lotus 79s at Thruxton, the British Temple of Speed. That's going to be fun to watch. And we love Miami so much, we're going to do it 3 times in 5 days, because we're there for the Porsche Owners Club on Tuesday/Monday, depending on your time zones, of course. And then the next week we'll start. Charlotte Roval will be the home of the Skip Barbers on Thursday, and Adelaide hosts the Grand Prix Legends. But it is safe to say the championship rolls on. Well, Valenteus wasn't here this week. It doesn't matter. He's still got that lead. Jacob Reed, though, is closing that gap to Gabriel Martinez. He doesn't need to throw any more Hail Marys, but I don't think he'll need to just put a nail down. He's going to have to keep running the rock before he finds pay dirt in the championship. Until next time, race hard, race clean, and we will see you on the track.
This is iRacing.